We have an amazing episode for you today, but first I want to tell you about Anchor, the easiest way to make a podcast. Whether it's recording new podcast episodes, uploading existing episodes, editing, or more, Anchor gives you everything you need in one place to create your podcast from your computer or your phone and make it sound amazing. And the best part, it's free. Yes, Anchor is completely free. Anchor makes it easy to make money with a podcast without a minimum listenership, and will even distribute your podcast so it can be heard anywhere from Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, and more. The podcast process has been so easy because of Anchor, and I couldn't have asked for a better experience right off the bat. I'm recommending Anchor to all of my listeners who are wanting to start a podcast. Be sure to download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started building your own podcast today. My name is Kristen Kubik, and you're listening to As Told Unfiltered, the podcast that dives deep into what it's really like running a business. The raw, the real, and the completely unfiltered. Today, we are talking about why the term anybody who is killing your business and why niching down is so important. So, the term anybody who, I love this term. I used to be this term. I used to do this term. It is killing your business. And I'm going to say it probably 17 more times. The reason being, if you're not niching down, if you're not narrowing your stuff, if you're not narrowing your audience, your post, your product line, like even your product lines, you're risking losing out on sales. And it's mostly because your buyers don't have a direction. So I'm going to use selling t-shirts as an option, as an example. Say you sell some t-shirts. You can choose to say, well, my audience is anybody who needs a t-shirt. But here's why that doesn't work. Because I can say, I need a t-shirt. Let me go find, someone on Etsy who makes t-shirts. Well, obviously, there are thousands of sellers on Etsy that make t-shirts. So it's a huge market. I don't think it's a saturated market because I think people are allowed to, is an excuse. I'll just throw that out there right now. I think if you're saying that you're in a saturated market, it's an excuse not to have to do more to stand out. And that's part of the reason I loved being in graphic design. Because I had my own style. I have my own style. I'm still a graphic designer. I have my own style. I have my own way of working. I have my own prices. I have everything. I have my own reason, for doing what I do. That makes me stand out. So when people say that they don't want to do this or they're scared of doing that, or, they don't really know what to do because they're in a saturated market, that's an excuse to me. Because that means that they're just not willing to do the work to stand out. So, when you take the time and you go from selling just t-shirts to selling, say, sports t-shirts, or narrow it down even further and say, baseball t-shirts, then you're really narrowing down and honing in on your audience. Because then it means that I'm looking for, say, I don't know, a friend of mine loves these shirts that say dibs on the coach. So say, I'm looking for a dibs on the coach shirt. And I want to get on Etsy and I type in dibs on the coach. Well, if you're niched down and your SEO is really amazing, you're probably going to be that top search. You're probably going to end up, on the front page of Etsy because you're talking to your audience, because you know who you're talking to, if that makes sense. Like, that's what you want. You don't want to just be talking to anybody who needs a t-shirt, because that's millions of people. And that means you don't have a direction of who you really want to work with. I don't know how to niche down in, I'll use yesterday as an example. I don't know how to niche down my vinyl business. Well, what kind of, decals do you want to do? Do you want to do logos? Are you licensed to do logos? Do you want to do wraps? Do you want to do car decals? Do you want to do home decals for the wall? Do you have space to print and cut home decals for the wall? Do you have shipping availability to do that? You have all these questions that you have to answer, because that's what takes you from, I want to sell vinyl decals, to, I'm going to sell car decals for people who want original, eccentric designs with unicorns and cryptids and holographic vinyl. That is a fucking niche. And that is something that people want. So when you're not taking advantage of things like that, you're missing out on so many sales, because you're not giving your people a direction. And you're not giving potential buyers things they need to know. It comes down to, using your shop sections isn't good enough. You need to also have your niche down in the descriptions, in your announcement, in your, shop, about me. And I'm not just talking on Etsy. I'm talking about anything. Like, I have a decently popular design in one of my shops, and it's an Area 51 joke, and I put it out right after they started the Area 51 raid joke, and it became one of the most popular designs I had in my shop. And it was it's an alien in a spaceship, and it just says, "Get in, loser, we're going cheek clapping." And it's obviously a cheeky design, because not everyone knows what cheek clapping is. So a lot of people bought it because they thought it was funny. I got a lot of messages saying it was hilarious. I got a lot of messages saying that I should absolutely take that down. I got a lot of messages, like, it's something that's controversial. It's something that's fun. It's, it brings in a certain type of customer, and people have fun with that. So if it's one of those things that you really like and you have fun with, there's your niche right there. Why are you not using that? In order to actually have a marketing plan, you have to know who you're talking to. If you're just talking just to talk, if you're posting just to post, you're not having a marketing plan. That's not a fucking marketing plan. Like, in order to actually have something that's solid and that's, going to attract people, you have to know who you're talking to. But in order to know who you're talking to, you have to bring yourself down from, I'm selling I'm selling t-shirts to whoever needs a t-shirt, to I'm selling baseball t-shirts. Like, it's a huge drop, and it brings it down to, well, now I can make my post, all about baseball season, opening day, pitchers are reporting, I can talk about who got traded. How do you feel about, so-and-so winning the World Series? How do you feel about this? How do you feel about that? Those are great engagement posts. Like, when you niche down, all of a sudden your post variety becomes wider. Because you're not thinking of, well, how do I talk to this and this and this and this type person. Instead, I'm talking to the mom whose kids are always gone, the mom whose kids are constantly being, drug onto the field, the mom whose kid plays first base, but, got stuck in the outfield this season for some reason, the mom whose husband got randomly picked to be a coach, but hey, dibs on the coach. You can really do anything once you narrow in on who you're talking to. My niche in this group is women, small business owners who want to make a difference for themselves, who want to make money, who want to make sales. So I'm talking to the person who is having a hard time getting visible, who's having a hard time, posting something, and then they're talking to crickets and they can't figure out why because they had a damn good post. Or, they're struggling with how to understand what to post. So if you don't niche down, you're not creating a marketing plan for yourself. You're not creating a posting plan for yourself. And you're not creating content for yourself. You're making it so much harder than it has to be. And once you take that first step, it's not that hard. So it is possible to niche in a saturated market. Because, like I said, a saturated market is an excuse, in my opinion. It's a reason for you not to stand out. So if you want to stand out, you won't see a saturated market. You won't see necessarily competition. You won't see anything other than someone else doing their job. That's what I see all the time. And it took a really long time for me to see that. Because I also was like, graphic design is such a saturated market. Graphic design is so hard to be in. It's so hard to compete in. There are all these other people doing logos. How do I do this? All these other things. But once you get past that and realize that it's not about the other people, it's just about you. It's about who you want to work with. It's about who you decide that you want to gear your products to. Like, who does your product speak to, want to speak to? Because I had someone yesterday say that she lets her pieces that she makes speak to her. And I loved that because it's such a different mindset than what a lot of us think. Because we tend to make our products for the people rather than letting our products kind of make themselves. And I liked the way she did that because it brings a point of she just makes the product and then lets it sell. And I thought that was cool. Because then it's a form of bringing her niche in. So if someone asks you what your niche is, you might think, well, I don't really know. But it's times like that when you have to kind of dig deep and get creative about it. The last big point I was going to make is that your current marketing, your post, your photos, your ads, the way you speak on social media, your tags, your titles, your descriptions, everything. That is all your marketing. You're possibly alienating your actual people that you want to speak to because you don't actually have your niche down. And that's kind of where I'm hoping this will help. And I see it a lot on Etsy for sure. But I see it in general with people who don't really know what they want and they just kind of post and they'll post like sentences. I have this really cool unicorn, and it's a crystal unicorn. So they'll say, man, this crystal unicorn, it reminds me of the time I went to Nashville with my best friend. And if you want one just like it, here's the link to my shop. What value did that just give you guys? It didn't give you a damn thing. It had a call to action, great, which is what every post selling anything should have. But what incentive did it give you to buy my product? It's a cute little unicorn. Yay. It's a cute little unicorn. But it didn't give you any value. So by doing that, I just alienated so many potential buyers, because in what world are they going to click on my link because I just said that? So when you're posting, you have to think about who you're talking to. If you're not actually talking to a specific type of person or a specific, group of people, then that's a huge problem, because that's when you're not getting the return from what you're posting. That's when you're not actually getting anything back. It's when you're not actually getting the engagement, and it's destroying everything that you're currently working for. Be smart about what you're posting, because you should have a direction of who you're talking to, of who these people are, of, who this group is, why you want to work with them, why they fit into what you're doing. You want to market to, I keep trying not to say your niche, but it is. It's marketing to your niche. And that's legitimately what everything is going to stem from. So once you bring all of this in, you're going to be successful, because you're going to have a direction and your people are going to have a direction. I literally, when I'm planning out like some post or a course or something, I will take, my little unicorn notebook, and I will write it down. I will write it down. Who fits this product? What is, what is their demographic? What is their gender? Who's more likely to buy this product? Is it, are they male? Are they female? Are they, does their sexuality matter? If so, great. If not, great. Do they have dogs? Do they have cats? Does it matter? Do they live in Florida? Do they live in, Wyoming? Does it matter? These are the different things that you think about. And this is how you start to niche down. So if you think of, let's see, I'll go into like tumblers, because I know a lot of you guys sell tumblers. So you're niching down for tumblers. I saw someone who is selling tumblers in an Etsy group. He chose to niche down to do only military and first responder cups. And I thought that was the coolest thing ever. And he was worried that this was too small of a niche. And his sales are through the roof, because you can't find that anywhere. You can't find someone who is just doing those types of styles. So say you wanted to just do, some watercolor flowers for styles. You wanted to just do glitter ombres for styles. You wanted to just do leopard for styles. Or, I don't know, wood grain. Like, you wanted to just niche down, you would be an insanely different type of person. But it would also be really cool. And it would also make you an expert in that style. And a lot of people are scared to do that, because it can be scary. You feel like you're alienating a huge portion of people. But in reality, you're not. You're actually ending up bringing yourself a whole new type of customer, and you're actually bringing yourself a whole new set of people, because they're going to want this specific product.
Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of As Told Unfiltered. If you haven't already, go subscribe to our blog at kristenkubick.com/blog. And now you can find us on Patreon, patreon.com/astoldunfiltered, where you can get special things like extra episodes, bonus content, digital downloads, even 10% off all of my courses. That's insane! I'm also creating a private Facebook group for my top members, and I cannot wait to share it with you guys. See you guys again next time.